the Valvoline Restore Protect. I've done some videos on this before. This will be my first treatment of Valvoline Restore Protect with this vehicle. But what I also want to do while I've got it up on the lift is work on the differential. I want to change the fluid because I've got some chattering going on with the limited slip. So I'm going to replace that with some limited slip additive, and I'm also going to run my favorite gear and transmission oil, which is Royal Purple. So we'll start off with the differential. Here it is. Super easy to work on because the drain plug is here instead of having the back cover needing to be removed in order to get the fluid out. And I've also got a drain plug up there that I've already removed. If I can get over here and show it to you. There it is. So we're going to do some work on this, get that the Royal Purple gear oil in there. I'm going to actually to 75-140, which is not the spec for this vehicle. I think the spec is something like 75-90, but given I've got over 100,000 miles on, I just want to put a little thicker oil in there to fill in some of the gaps from wear. But we're going to start off with is doing the oil change with the Valvoline Restore Protect, and I'm also, based on recommendations from so many people, going to use the Purolator filter, the Boss oil filter, to make sure I have what I consider and what most people consider the best oil filter you can put on these vehicles. I'm sure everybody's got their opinion, but I'm going to run 5W30 Valvoline Restore Protect, and we're going to see what it does for this Cadillac CTS-V in the long run. You'll have to stay tuned because I'm going to I've already pulled the oil filter, but I'm going to take that one apart, the one that was on here. It was a Supertech from Walmart. When I get 3,000 miles on this car and I'm pulling this oil filter, I'm going to take it apart. We're going to compare the two to see what they look like. Here's a good view of 3,000 mile oil dripping off of a white oil filter. You can see the color and consistency of the oil coming off. Really surprising how small this oil filter is. It's supporting a 6-liter LS2 engine, a V8 engine that's also found in the Corvette, the Z06 Corvette for that matter. Now I'm opening it up because in the future when I pull the Boss filter after running the Valvoline Restore Protect for 3,000 miles, I want to get a comparison of what the two oil filters look like. If there's more gunk and debris, maybe sludge found in the Boss oil filter in the future. Opening up these pleats, you can see that it's really very clean. There's no sludge whatsoever, no particulate matter. And it doesn't really surprise me because first I was using Royal Purple with this engine, then I moved to Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Synthetic. So I'm not really surprised, and it's really going to be interesting to see if Valvoline Restore Protect does anything additional to this over the other oils I've been using. Draining the oil, one thing I want to look at is the oil drain plug because it has that magnetic feature to it. Here you can see on my finger is some sludge, and that's really got some metallic matter in there coming off the engine. And this is really important to note, and it's another reason why it's important to do regular oil changes on your vehicle. I just started filling my oil filters where I can, where they're sitting straight up and down like I are in the CTS-V. I fill it with oil just to make sure that there's no dry start when it starts because there's been some evidence that there is a little bit of wear when you start a vehicle up on a dry start with an empty filter. With the Purolator Boss oil filter on and the oil drain plug back in place, it's time to put that Valvoline Restore Protect in the crankcase. And of course, the final touch is putting this Valvoline Restore Protect 5W30 oil in this Corvette LS2 engine that's in my Cadillac. Hopefully, we're going to see some good results. I'm going to check the oil filter. I'm also going to check oil consumption. Don't have any piston slap or any other noises in this vehicle, but I'm hoping that I do get some improvement in oil consumption, which is a little bit of a problem in this car. These plugs take a 10mm hex bit, so we're going to get started with the top one, as I mentioned, and then start draining from the bottom. Jesus. This is the magnetic drain plug from the differential, and unfortunately it's hard to see, but I'm using another magnet to try to pull the particulate matter off of that plug, and there is some metal moving around on the plug, which indicates that some of that metal is sloughing off of the gears. So this is just another reason to make sure that you routinely change all of your fluids. I wrapped it with some Teflon tape. Some of you may be using plumber's putty or plumber's dope, whatever you call that. but I just want to make sure it's properly sealed. And you can see that there's still a crushable washer on here, so there shouldn't be any problem with it leaking. I'm going to go ahead and thread it back up and tighten it down. To ensure I don't have any limited slip chatter, I'm going to add this CRC Transex oil additive for my limited slip. I know that the Royal Purple has that as well, but I just want to make sure that I put the best quality fluids in here. I'll link this in the video description like I do all the products that I use in all my videos. Here you can see the Royal Purple Max Gear 75-140 I'm putting in, and I'm having to pump it in over the rear frame and into the hole. There's no room to get the tube or this bottle up in there, so you're going to have to use a pump, and I'll link this also in the description of this video. I filled that differential up until it started weeping out of the hole and then buttoned it back up, and the differential is done. That's it. The old girl is ready for the road, but stay tuned. I have a future project that will improve shifting performance of the Tremec T56 6-speed manual transmission found in this beast. I linked the teaser video in the description showing one area that causes sloppy shifts in the first Gen CTS-V. And while you're down there, please crush that like button. See you next time on Driving Intelligence.